Hi, today's deck is a green-white taxes list built around a full playset of Hokori Dustdrinker, a white legendary 2/2 creature for 4 mana. You may be thinking, that one's garbage! But Hokori stops every player's lands from untapping, and at the beginning of each player's upkeep, Hokori allows that player to untap one of their lands, which plays very nicely with our taxing pieces.
The garbage will do!
So today's taxing pieces are a full playset of Leonin Arbiter, a full playset of Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, and a full playset of Archon of Emeria. These taxes pieces work by slowing down our opponent's game plan, but unless we beat our opponent quickly, they will eventually get out from under them. What we're hoping to do, much like Arnold Vosloo's character Imhotep from the 1999 hit action adventure film The Mummy, is summon a massive sandstorm to further slow down our opponents. With Hokori on the field, all of our taxing pieces get better. Thalia adds an entire turn between non-creature spells. Archon of Emeria forces non-basics to enter the play tapped. Leonin Arbiter remains relevant the entire game. What's not to love? Hokori, however, hits both players equally. So to reduce the damage dealt to us by this effect, we're also running a full playset of Aether Vial, a full playset of Noble Hierarch, and 2 Birds of Paradise. Unaffected by Hokori, our dorks and our Vial ensure we can keep throwing out threats for the entire game. For removal, we're running 4 Path to Exile, 4 Skyclave Apparition, and 2 Night of Autumn. And to round out the creatures, we're running 2 Scavenging Ooze and 2 Ramunap Excavator. For non-basic lands, we've got 4 Ghost Quarter. Ghost Quarter can be looped with Ramunap Excavator and Arbiter to strip mine our opponents, 2 Horizon Canopy, and 1 Castle Ardenvale. Castle Ardenvale is able to produce tokens in case we find ourselves flooding out. And then we have 3 Razorverge Thicket, 4 Temple Garden, and a Gavony Township. Gavony Township's able to grow our board and accelerate our clock. For basics, we have 4 plains and 2 forests. For the sideboard, we have a few more taxing pieces, 2 Gaddock Teeg, 2 Aven Mindcensor, 2 Spirit of the Labyrinth, 2 Tocatli Honor Guard, 2 Stony Silence, 3 Rest in Peace, and finally 2 Giver of Runes for extra protection should we need it. And that's today's deck. Now before we get started, I just want to let you know that I release a video every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so if you enjoy this video, be sure to check some of the others out. And if you like this video, by leaving a like, that lets me know that this is more of the content you'd like to see. Now, let's get on with the games. Okay, we lose the die roll. Yeah, this is a good taxes hand we're going to keep. Opponent plays a Spire Bluff Canal. Passes to us. I think we're just going to lead on plains into Aether Vial. Pass it there. Yep, opponent opts in our end step. Goes to their turn. Plays a Steam Vents. And there's the Baral. Alright, passes to us. Put a counter on our Aether Vial. Horizon Canopy. Well, we'll play the Ghost Quarter. Run out Thalia. Pass it there. Yep, they play another Spire Bluff Canal. Do nothing and pass. Okay, well, we'll put a counter on our Aether Vial. There's the Hokori Dustdrinker as well. It's going to play a Temple Garden tapped. And we'll just pass the turn there. Yeah, no attacks. Alright, opponent has cast Solundi Vision. We're going to path the Baral in response. Yeah, opponent gets an island. Puts a Gifts Ungiven into hand. Goes to their turn. Oh, they've got a second Baral. And a Goblin Electromancer. Okay. They pass to us. We put a counter on our Aether Vial. Another Skyclave. That's good. Well, Horizon Canopy. Yeah, I think we'll just run out Hokori. Activate our Aether Vial. Put into play a Skyclave Apparition. Take the Baral. Go to combat. Swing in for 2. An opponent scoops it up. All right. We got a fair bit of main deck game against Storm, haven't we? We'll bring in the Aven Mindcensors. We'll bring in the Gaddock Teegs. Bring in the Rest in Peace. Go down the Ramunap Excavators. Go down the Skoos. Yeah, we'll go down Skoos. Go down Night of Autumn. We'll trim 1 Hokori. Because it's legendary. Run it back like that. Yeah, we're keeping this one. Opponent leads on an island. Into a Serum Visions. Passes to us. Oh, there's the Hokori. Just gonna go plains into Aether Vial. Pass it there. Opponent plays a Shivan Reef. Oh, Shattering Spree on our Aether Vial. Okay. Casts a Serum Visions. Passes to us. Alright, well we hit a Razorverge Thicket. Just gonna go for Arbiter here. Pass the turn. Opponent plays an island. Runs out the Goblin Electromancer. Passes to us. Oh, we hit some more Storm Hate. Okay. Well, we're gonna run out our Noble Hierarch, go to combat, swing in with the Leonin Arbiter. Opponent takes it down to 15. We're going to play the plains, and then we're just going to run out the Rest in Peace. An opponent scoops up the match. Can't beat the Rest in Peace. Okay. Yeah, Hokori was great in that first game, and it would have been great in this game as well, but opponent just can't beat the Rest in Peace. That's great. All right, we lose the die roll. We mull to 6. Decide to keep this one. Go to our opponent's turn. Opponent plays a Castle Ardenvale tapped. Passes the turn there. We run out of Temple Garden. Shock ourselves. Play our Noble Hierarch. Pass the turn. Opponent casts an Amulet of Vigor. Plays the Simic Growth Chamber. Amulet untaps it. They bounce their Castle Ardenvale. They then cast Explore. Replay the Castle Ardenvale. It untaps. And they run out an Arboreal Grazer, putting a Field of the Dead into play. It's a lot of land drops there. They pass the turn. We draw a Hokori. We'll run out of plains. And we're just going to Skyclave that Amulet. Yep, Skyclave comes down. Eats the Amulet. Pass to our opponent. Our opponent casts a Summoner's Pact. Tutors up a Primeval Titan, plays a Snow-Covered Forest, activates Ardenvale, and runs out the Primeval Titan. They go digging for lands. They get a Thalia West and a Simic Growth Chamber. They bounce the Thalia West with the Simic Growth Chamber, and they pass the turn to us. We draw an Aether Vial, we run out the Vial, run out the Arbiter, no attacks, and we pass the turn. Opponent has to pay for their Summoner's Pact. They play a Valakut tapped, and they go to combat, swing with the Primeval Titan. They fail to pay the Arbiter cost, so they don't get to search up any lands. They hit us for 6 down to 12, and they pass to us. Put a counter on our Aether Vial. We draw a Horizon Canopy, play it out, and we run out our Leonin Arbiter. No attacks from us, we pass the turn. Opponent runs out an Arboreal Grazer, puts a Gruul Turf into play, returns the Snow-Covered Forest to hand, plays the Snow-Covered Forest, goes to combat, fails to pay the Arbiter tax again, fails to search with the Primeval Titan, gets in, no blocks from us, and hits us down to 6. They pass to us. Put a counter on our Aether Vial, we draw a Razorverge Thicket, we're just going to run out our Ramunap Excavator. Pass the turn there. Opponent goes to combat, swings in for 6, doesn't pay the Arbiter tax again. This time we block, throw a bunch of creatures under the big Primeval Titan bus. Opponent chooses to let the Leonin Arbiter live. We eat the Primeval Titan though. They get a 1/1 from our Skyclave Apparition. They cast an Azusa, Lost But Seeking, run out the Thalia West, get themselves a zombie, and they pass to us. Put a counter on our Aether Vial, we draw another Razorverge Thicket. We crack our Horizon Canopy to draw, hit a Scavenging Ooze. Well, we run out the Scavenging Ooze, play the Razorverge Thicket, no attacks, and we pass the turn. Opponent plays a Vesuva, copying Field of the Dead, gets 2 zombies, goes to combat, swings with a zombie. We're going to block with a Scavenging Ooze. Yep, and then before damage, we're just going to eat the Primeval Titan in the graveyard and kill the zombie. Opponent passes the turn. We keep our Vial on 3, we draw a Path to Exile, no attacks from us, and we pass the turn. Opponent plays a land, gets 2 zombies with their Fields of the Dead, cracks a Ghost Quarter targeting our Temple Garden. We pay the Arbiter tax, so we can go and fetch up a basic forest. Opponent casts a Summoner's Pact, however they have not paid for Arbiter. They made us pay, but it doesn't work like that, so they fail to find. Scavenging Ooze eats our Skyclave Apparition, and eats our Ramunap Excavator. Go to our turn. Keep our Aether Vial where it is. We draw a Gavony Township. Play out the Gavony Township. This means that our creatures can be realistic threats. Just going to pass the turn there. Opponent has to pay for their Summoner's Pact even though they didn't get to search. They run out another Simic Growth Chamber, get a bunch of zombies. They pay our Arbiter's cost. For both of them this time, they figured out how it works. They transmute Thalia West, and they get a Summoner's Pact to hand. They pass to us. In their end step, we activate our Gavony Township, put counters on everything, go to our turn. We tick our Aether Vial up to 4, hit a Leonin Arbiter, run out the Leonin Arbiter. We choose not to attack, and we pass the turn. They start paying for our Arbiter's effects, cast a Summoner's Pact, get themselves a Primeval Titan, run out the Primeval Titan, searches up a Field of the Dead in Thalia West, makes a bunch of zombies. They play a Golgari Rot Farm, they go to combat, choose not to attack, and they pass the turn. Now, unfortunately for them, they're completely tapped out, and they need to pay 4 mana in their upkeep. We're going to play our plains, we're going to path the Primeval Titan, just in case there's any shenanigans with that. We're going to activate our Aether Vial, and throw down our trap card.
You've activated my trap card!
Hokori, the Dust Drinker. We then pass the turn, we go to our opponent's upkeep, they untap a Simic Growth Chamber, and then they can't pay for their Summoner's Pact, and they die. Hoisted by their own petard.
Sandstorms are very, very dangerous.
Alright, game 2. Opponent gets to go first. We're going to keep this hand. Opponent leads on a basic forest into an arboreal grazer and runs out a Field of the Dead. Now this is a slow start for them. I know getting 2 lands on turn 1 doesn't seem slow, but for Amulet Titan, only having access to potentially 3 mana on turn 2 is quite slow for them. They pass to us. We draw a Hokori, which is the opposite of a land. We're going to run out our plains and play our Aether Vial. Hopefully we can ride this 1 land to victory. We pass the turn. Opponent plays a Castle Ardenvale and runs out an Azusa. And then they pass the turn, so they don't have any more lands in hand, so they must have a handful of gas. We tick up our Aether Vial, draw a Leonin Arbiter, and pass the turn. Opponent runs out a Dryad of the Elysian Grove. Still has no lands. Swings in for 1, we're going to take it, down to 19. In their end step, we activate our Aether Vial, and we're going to put our Noble Hierarch into play. They pass to us, we tick up our Aether Vial, draw a Thalia, that's good. Well, we're going to run out the Thalia, and hopefully we can get them with Leonin Arbiter on the next turn. We pass the turn there. Opponent casts a Gruul Turf, bounces the forest to hand, replays the forest, and they swing in with the Dryad of the Elysian Grove. No blocks from us, we take 2 down to 17. In their end step, we activate Aether Vial, put our Arbiter into play, and go to our turn. Put a counter on our Aether Vial, draw another Hokori, go to combat, swing in with Thalia for 3. No blocks from our opponent, they take it down to 17. We activate our Aether Vial, put our Knight of Autumn into play, and we just destroy that Dryad of the Elysian Grove. And we pass the turn. In our end step, our opponent casts a Dismember on the Leonin Arbiter, and they go to their turn. They play out an Arboreal Grazer, no attacks, and they pass to us. We're very lucky that they are stuck on lands. We're also stuck on lands. We've only had 1 the entire game. Gonna keep our Aether Vial on 3, hit another Skyclave Apparition, we go to combat, swing in for 3 again, opponent takes it down to 10, and we pass the turn there. In our end step, our opponent casts a Summoner's Pact, tutors up a Primeval Titan. In their upkeep, they have to pay the cost of Summoner's Pact. In their draw step, we vial in our Archon of Emeria, they run out of Thalia West, and they pass the turn. We tick our vial up to 4, now that our opponent is mostly tapped out, go to combat, we swing for 3 in the air. Our opponent throws an Arboreal Grazer under the bus. In our second main, we're going to vial in our Hokori. It's currently turn 6 and we're still on 1 land, but this Aether Vial and Noble Hierarch have been carrying us through the game. In our opponent's upkeep, they untap their Gruul Turf, they play a non-basic land, it enters tapped because of the Archon, and they pass the turn to us. We keep our Aether Vial on 4 in case we need another Hokori, and we hit another Aether Vial. We spend our mana, run out the Aether Vial, go to combat, swing in for 8. Opponent trades with the Knight of Autumn and puts the Arboreal Grazer in front of the Archon of Emeria. They take 4 down to 6, and we pass to them. Opponent untaps a basic forest. Now, unfortunately, even though we're stopping them from untapping, yep, they play a Valakut. We can't stop that Field of the Dead going off. So now they get a zombie. They pass to us. We untap our plains, put a counter on our newer Aether Vial, keep our other Aether Vial on 4. We draw a Temple Garden. Well, we run out the Temple Garden, we pay 2 life, and we cast a Skyclave Apparition just to get that Arboreal Grazer out of the way. So we're free to start swinging in the air. We swing in the air for 3, hit our opponent down to 3, we pass the turn there. Opponent untaps another land, uses Castle Ardenvale to get 6 mana, runs out the Primeval Titan. Opponent grabs a Radiant Fountain and another Field of the Dead. They get an army of zombies, and this Radiant Fountain's probably going to keep them in the game long enough for the zombies to kill us. Yep, they gain 2 life all the way back up to 5. They go to combat, no attacks, and they pass the turn to us. We untap our Temple Garden with a Hokori, tick up our little Aether Vial, keep the other Aether Vial on 4, and we draw a Thalia. Unfortunately, if we run her out, we kill our other Thalia. We go to combat, swing in the air for 3, opponent takes it down to 2, pass the turn there. In their upkeep, our opponent untaps a Gruul Turf. They go to combat, swing with an army of zombies and a Primeval Titan. Primeval Titan tutors up a bunch of lands. They get a Vesuva and a Simic Growth Chamber. Vesuva copies the Field of the Dead, giving them approximately 1 billion zombies. Simic Growth Chamber bounces the Radiant Fountain. We go to blocks. We throw our Hokori under the bus, we throw our Skyclave Apparition under the bus, and we block a zombie with a Thalia. Thalia's first strike eats a zombie, and we trade with 2 zombies and we give our opponent a 1/1. They replay the Radiant Fountain and go back up to 4. Unfortunately, we don't have enough life to survive another attack. So we're going to need something pretty impressive this turn if we want to win. Opponent passes, we tick up our Aether Vial to 3, keep the other Aether Vial on 4 so we can put the Hokori back into play, go to our draw. Oh! Noble Hierarch does it. We run out the Noble Hierarch, go to combat, swing in with our Archon, double Exalted triggers. Archon gets pumped up to a 4/5, we swing in for Exaxes, and our opponent scoops it up. All right. All right, we lose the die roll. Ooh, this is slow. I think that's a mull from me. This is much better. We're going to keep this one, and we'll put the redundant 4-drop to the bottom. Opponent leads on a root-bound crag. Okay, got no idea what this is. Well, we'll just go plains into Aether Vial, pass it there. Opponent plays a Birds of Paradise and an unclaimed territory, naming Elemental. Okay, so this is some Omnath deck then. Pass the turn, tick up our Aether Vial. Going to play a Temple Garden tapped. Pass the turn there. Opponent plays another unclaimed territory. Name's Elemental again. Lightning Skelemental. Okay. Yep. Opponent swings in. No blocks from us. Gonna discard 2 cards. We'll pitch Horizon Canopy and Basic Forest. Yep. Lightning Skelemental goes away. We activate our Aether Vial. Put our Noble Hierarch into play. Go to our turn. Counter on our Aether Vial. Another land. Not ideal. Well, we'll run out Ghost Quarter. And yeah, I guess we just run out Hokori. Pass the turn there. Oh, opponent's got the Bolt. Yeesh. Punished. Opponent plays a Blood Crypt. Casts a Collected Company. Hits a Risen Reef and a Thunderkin Awakener. Risen Reef gets them a land and draws them a card. And they swing in for 1. Get back the Lightning Skelemental. Alright, that's a bit too much damage output for us. We're gonna scoop it up. Alright, well, against this, Tocatli's come in. Take Night of Autumn's away. Gaddock Teeg is good against Coco. And Skyclave Apparition. Bring in our Rest in Peace. Go down our Ramunap. Trim a Thalia. Go up 2 Giver of Runes. Yes, I would like to play first. Unfortunately, not keepable. Mulligan. This one's better. Put back a Forest. Lead on Forest. Into Noble Hierarch. Pass the turn there. Opponent leads on a Stomping Ground tapped. Passes to us. Well, we'll play Horizon Canopy. Run out Leonin Arbiter. Run out Giver of Runes. Pass the turn. Alright, opponent plays a Thunderkin Awakener. No attacks. Okay, we draw a path. Well, path the Thunderkin Awakener. Play a Temple Garden tapped. Run out Rest in Peace. Go to combat. Swing in for 3. Opponent takes it down to 17 and we pass the turn. Yep, opponent plays the Steam Vents. Untapped. Yep, runs out the Risen Reef. Passes to us. Another Arbiter. Okay, well, we'll go to combat. Swing in for 3. Opponent takes it down to 12 and run out our other Arbiter. Pass the turn there. Opponent's got the Anger of the God, so we're going to activate our Giver of Runes, protect our Arbiter, and then we're going to crack our Horizon Canopy to draw a card with the mana from the Noble Hierarch. Alright, we hit another land. Opponent plays a Breeding Pool tapped. Passes the turn there. Well, we'll play Horizon Canopy and we will crack it. Hit another land. Go to combat. Swing in for 2. Opponent's down to 10. Pass the turn. Yep. Opponent has another Risen Reef. Gets a card to hand. Plays an Unclaimed Territory. Naming Elemental. Passes to us. Another Rest in Peace. Unfortunately, they don't do much in pairs. Swing in for 2. Opponent takes it down to 8 and we pass. Opponent casts a Collected Company. Hits a Lightning Skelemental and a Stormbreeder. 2 triggers off the Risen Reef. Gets 2 cards in hand. Plays a Mountain and has the Thunderkin Awakener. Gets another Risen Reef trigger. Swings in for 8. We're going to take it. Discard our hand. Lightning Skelemental gets exiled. They pass to us. Gaddock Teeg. Okay, a turn too late, but better late than never. Go to combat. Swing in for 2. Opponent takes it down to 6. Pass the turn. Oh, another Lightning Skelemental. Brutal. Risen Reef triggers. And Ball Lightning, which unfortunately means we are dead. Elemental's got us. Damn shame. We'll pay a life, run out the Birds of Paradise, swing in for 1. Opponent takes it down to 19. Opponent plays a Stomping Ground, abrades our Noble Hierarch, passes to us. Well, we're going to play another Horizon Canopy, run out our Archon of Emeria, pass the turn there. Opponent exiles a Simian Spirit Guide, runs out a Seasoned Pyromancer, gets 2 tokens, passes to us. Okay, well, run out Leonin Arbiter, go to combat, swing in the air for 2. Opponent takes it down to 15, pass the turn there. Opponent casts an Eidolon of the Great Revel. Well, in response, we're going to cast Path to Exile on Seasoned Pyromancer. Opponent goes to combat, no attacks, passes to us. We hit a Thalia. Well, we're going to go to combat, swing in the sky for 2, no blocks. We're just going to path, are we? Yeah, we're just going to path that Eidolon now. Yep, gets exiled, opponent doesn't get to search, we take 2 damage. Pass to our opponent. They paid the Arbiter cost, but their Wooded Foothills comes into play tapped. They pass to us, we hit a Ghost Quarter. Well, we'll play the Ghost Quarter, blow up your stomping ground. And I think it's time for a Thalia. Go to combat, swing in the air for 2, and opponent scoops it up. Okay. I'll bring in the Giver of Runes, I think. Over the Ramunaps, run it back like that. Think we'll keep this one. When it plays a Prismatic Vista, cracks it immediately, gets themselves a mountain, exiles a Simian Spirit Guide, exiles 2 Simian Spirit Guides, and runs out a Goblin Rabblemaster, makes a Goblin token, and swings in for 1. Okay, they pass to us. Well, we're gonna go Razorverge Thicket, Noble Hierarch, pass the turn there. Opponent plays a Gemstone Caverns, makes another Goblin, goes to combat, swings in for 6. We're gonna take 6. Down to 13, and they pass to us. Well, we'll play a Razorverge Thicket. We will cast an Aether Vial, cast a Birds of Paradise, cast a Path to Exile on that Rabblemaster. Unfortunately, this gives them lands, but they might be fine for lands. And then Skyclave can eat their next threat. Yep, they get a Forest. Pass it there. Ooh, they've got another Goblin Rabblemaster. Make another Goblin token. They swing in for 3. Gonna take it. Down to 10. Pass to us. Put a counter on our Aether Vial. Giver of Runes. Well, play a Plains. Run out our Skyclave. Take that Rabblemaster. Go to combat, swing in the air for 1 with our Birds of Paradise. Opponent's down to 18. Pass the turn there. Opponent casts a Blood Moon, which hurts no one? Yep, unfortunately Gemstone Caverns is still legendary, even if it is a mountain. And they cast a Lightning Bolt on our Skyclave Apparition. They get themselves a 3/3 token. They swing in for 3. We're going to activate our Aether Vial. Put our Giver of Runes into play. Go to blockers. Block a Goblin. Take 2 down to 8. They pass to us. Put a counter on our Aether Vial. Another Skyclave. We don't need it yet. Going to run out our Knight of Autumn. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Go to combat. Swing in the air for 1. Opponent takes it. Down to 17. Pass the turn there. Eidolon of the Great Revel. Okay. No attacks from our opponent. They pass to us. Well, we're going to put a counter on our Aether Vial. A Knight of Autumn. Well, we're going to go to combat. Swing in with this Knight of Autumn for 5. Opponent takes it. Down to 12. Just pass the turn there. Opponent goes to combat. No attacks. Activate the Aether Vial. Yes, use its ability. Knight of Autumn into play. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Go to our turn. Keep Aether Vial where it is. Hit another Aether Vial. Go to combat. Swing in for 5. Opponent blocks with a Goblin token. Pass the turn there. Opponent runs out of Clothis. Hits themselves for 2. Passes the turn. In their end step, we're going to activate our Aether Vial. Put our Skyclave Apparition into play. Take that Clothis. And opponent scoops up the match. Locked under their own Eidolon. Oh, that was a bit of fun. Alright, we lose the die roll. Can't keep this one, mulligan. This one's even worse, mulligan. We can keep this one. Okay, 2 cards to the bottom. We'll go Thalia and Path. Go to our opponent's turn. Opponent plays a Concealed Courtyard. Runs out a Grave Crawler. Passes to us. Well, we're going to play a Horizon Canopy. Run out a Noble Hierarch. Pass the turn there. Opponent swings in for 2. We take 2. Down to 17. They play a Concealed Courtyard. And they cast Priest of the Forgotten Gods. They pass to us. Well, we're going to play our Plains, and then we're just going to run out a Skyclave Apparition, eat that Priest. Pass to our opponent. Opponent plays a Marsh Flats, cracks it, plays a Godless Shrine, runs out of Stitches Supplier. Yep, mills over a bunch of cards, casts an Undead Augur. Goes to combat, swings in for 2. We're just going to take it. Down to 14, and they pass the turn there. We hit a Forest. Well, we're going to play the Forest, run out Arbiter, path the Augur, go to combat, swing in for 3. Yep, opponent takes it down to 14, pass the turn to them. Opponent plays a Swamp, casts another Grave Crawler. Casts a Return to the Ranks. Oh dear. Yep, they amass an army. They sack the Tidehollow Sculler to the Visceraseer. Wayward Servant hits us. Opponent swings in for 2. Well, we're just going to take that. Down to 11. They pass to us. Another Horizon Canopy. Well, we'll tap our Forest and crack the Canopy. We hit another Arbiter. Play a Temple Garden tapped, and then we'll just run out the Arbiter. I think we'll go to combat. Swing in for 3. Opponent takes it down to 12. Pass the turn. Opponent swings in for 4. We're just going to take it. Down to 7. They sacrifice a Gravecrawler to Visceraseer. Scries 1. Brings back the Gravecrawler. Drains us for 1. It's a heck of an engine they've got there. Yep, they do it again. We're down to 6. Down to 5. And they cast a Priest of the Forgotten Gods. They pass to us. Scavenging Ooze. It's actually quite helpful here. We'll run out Horizon Canopy. Run out Scavenging Ooze. Just pass the turn there. Opponent goes to combat. Swings in for 4. Okay, well, we'll go to blockers. Block here. Block here. Scavenging Ooze Ooze will attempt to eat the Tidehollow Sculler. That worked. Opponent casts a Gravecrawler back from grave. We're going to eat the other one. We're all the way up to 7 now. Opponent drains us to 6. They sack the Gravecrawler to scry. Scavenging Ooze will eat the Gravecrawler then. Yep, they sacrifice 2 creatures, make us lose 2 life. We sacrifice a creature. I think it might have to be Arbiter here. I could have a tutor. I'll just sack Arbiter here. They play a Plains. Return to the ranks. Sure thing. Hits us down to 1, mills a bunch of cards. Archon of Emeria. I don't think that's going to do it, unfortunately. Yeah, they got us, I think. Oh, we'll crack the Horizon Canopy, I guess. Noble Hierarch doesn't do it. All right, we're done. Sideboarding. Bring in the rest in pieces. Bring in the Tocatlis. Bring in the Gaddock Teegs. Go down all our ETB creatures and our Ramunap Excavators. Go up Giver of Runes over a Thalia. Run it back like that. Yes, I would like to play first. It's a 1-lander, but it has all our sideboard tech. I can't keep it. Mulligan. Yeah, we can keep this one, I guess. Put Thalia to the bottom. Run out Razorverge Thicket and Aether Vial. Pass the turn there. Opponent plays a Concealed Courtyard into a Carrion Feeder. Passes the turn. Oh, put a counter on our Aether Vial. Hit a Gaddock Teeg. Okay. Well, we're just going to run out our Arbiter. Pass the turn there. Opponent plays a Cavern of Souls. Names Zombie. Runs out the Undead Augur. Swings in for 1. Question is, do we block it? We're not going to block it. Not this turn. In their end step, we activate Aether Vial. Put Giver of Runes into play. Go to our turn. Put a counter on our Aether Vial. Hit a Temple Garden too. Run out Temple Garden. Yes, I'd like to pay 2 life. Run out Gaddock Teeg. Blow up the Concealed Courtyard. Swing in for 2. No blocks from our opponent. Down to 18. Pass the turn there. Opponent plays a Godless Shrine untapped. Plays a Maya Triton. They mill 2 cards and they gain 2 life. Pass the turn there. In their end step, we're going to vial in our Scavenging Ooze. And we'll put a counter on our Aether Vial. Opponent scoops it up. Yeah, I'm happy with this. Yeah, run it back as is. All right, we'll keep this one. Opponent plays a Concealed Courtyard. Passes the turn. Okay, and we hit the Hokori. Okay, well, we're going to play Razorverge into Aether Vial. Pass the turn there. Opponent plays another Concealed Courtyard. Runs out of Viscera Seer. Passes the turn. Going to put a counter on our Aether Vial. We hit the Scavenging Ooze as well. Oof, 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 oof. All right, well, we might just keep that as a bear then. So we're going to go Ghost Quarter and we'll just run out Rest in Peace. That should shut down a lot of our opponent's shenanigans. Pass it there. Opponent swings in for 1. We're just going to take it. They play a Godless Shrine. Tapped. In their end step, we're going to activate our Aether Vial. Put our Noble Hierarch into play. Go to our turn. Put a counter on our Aether Vial. They Fatal Push the Noble Hierarch. Okay. Put a counter on our Aether Vial. We hit a Forest. Well, we'll put the Forest into play. I think we'll just run out Thalia. Pass the turn there. We're 1 land away from Hokori. Opponent casts Fatal Push on our Thalia. Okay. Goes to combat. No attacks. Well, we'll activate Aether Vial. Put our Leonin Arbiter into play. Go to our turn. Keep our Aether Vial on 2. Opponent scoops up the match to the Arbiter. Oh, that's a shame. We had the Hokori as well that we were hoping to get down. So if we draw the card, another Arbiter as well. Okay, so it was going to start getting pretty painful for our opponent. They had 1 card in hand. None of their sack outlets were working. Oh, that was good fun. All right, so what did we think of Hokori Dust Drinker? That's a really powerful effect. I love the combo with Archon of Emeria. I don't think it's something we're going to main deck anymore. Hokori is great, but there were just some situations where we can't play this because it's going to hurt us more than it hurts our opponent. Overall though, green-white taxes, pretty fun. It's hard to go wrong with taxes, really. Scavenging Ooze, a lot of decks in Modern are relying on the graveyard, so Scavenging Ooze in the main deck just gives us a bit of game against them and worked really well. As far as the mana base goes, I reckon I would probably cut the Hokoris down into the sideboard, throw in 2 more lands and find another 2 cards you want to put in, maybe even over the Excavator. I was actually a little bit disappointed with Excavator in this one, but yeah, main deck overall not bad, only a couple of changes that I'd make. Sideboard, for the most part, felt pretty good. Spirit of the Labyrinth, not as good as it once was. Back when a lot more decks were trying to draw more cards, it was definitely on a higher level, but right now, unless we're running specifically like the garbage engine, it's not doing enough, so I would take that out so the Hokoris can take its place, and then we've got some spare slots in the main deck as well. But overall, pretty happy with it. Hope you guys are happy with it, and until next time, have fun.